Welcome back to the Guitar Porch, and I think it's been exactly 1 year since we last did this with Thomas Porter. Thomas came in with his son Teak, and we got a pretty cool add-on to our video we did last year. We have Earl Scruggs D18 with us today. Thomas was able to arrange it with James Key. We want to special thanks to James for letting us borrow this and getting these two guitars back together in the same place. It's pretty cool that, you know, probably one of our biggest groups and probably one most influential groups, Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs. Flatt and Scruggs, that group went on to inspire so many people that wanted to play this music. It was one of the biggest groups that I can think of, you know. And so we're going to talk to Thomas. I don't know. I know very little about this guitar, so we're going to let Thomas take it over and tell us what he knows about Earl's D18 here.
Well, I'm still learning about this guitar myself. James and I got a chance to just briefly talk about it the other night, and I had seen this guitar before in those Martha White videos. You know, after getting the Lester Flat guitar, watching those old videos that they brought out and put on YouTube, you know, you see this guitar many times. Right. And so I was talking with James about it, and I had actually seen this guitar when it was for sale at Gruen. He had it up in a case in the second floor, you know, and we went up to look at other guitars, and Gruen kind of nonchalantly goes, "Well, we have Earl's guitar over there," you know, and pointed, and sure enough, there it was, opening the case, and it was in pretty rough shape. So the story goes that, you know, that James picked it up and sent him the money for it, and then they basically took that guitar, I mean, completely apart. It was in pretty bad shape.
Right.
He had gotten it. I believe it was Don Gibson that originally had that guitar. Gave it to Earl in 1955. I should say sold it to Earl in 1955, and Earl had that guitar from 1955 on. And at some point, there was a brief time where he had traded it to someone. James told me who. I can't remember who off the top of my head. But his family was kind of pissed about it and wanted him to get it back. So Earl found a way to get it back after a few months, and then eventually it made its way to Gruen. But the double pick guard, it's a very obvious guitar.
Right.
You see it.
And very, I mean, back in that time period, that was the thing, you know. Mm-hmm. It's almost like, I think guitars, they go through these trends, and at that time, you know, this was going on. A lot of pictures you see had the stars, you know, still was putting their names in the fingerboard, and so just little custom things. One of the things that I guess is different about this guitar, it's got a truss rod in it, which is very...
Supposedly, when Don Gibson had it, they had some luthier take the neck way down because it would make it smaller, and the luthier decided it was too thin and needed to put in a truss rod. And James actually has the truss rod at the house. Wow. He showed it to me, and it looks like it looks like nothing, but it also used to have a white a cover on it in some of those videos. So in some of the videos, you'll see it with a white cover on there as well.
Wow. And what year?
1955.
55.
D18.
Mm-hmm. So, which is, man, to me, I've owned, my first old D18 I ever owned was a 54. And to me, it's one of the most consistent, in those 50s, to me, man, it just seems like all those 18s and 28s just sounded great. And they have this, they got a certain sound to it, very mid-range. They're great over the microphone, just amazing. I think clarity when you play them, and but wow.
Now another distinguishing feature of this is, of course, the engraving in the back of the headstock.
Right.
You saw that, right?
Yeah.
James was saying...
We'll try to get a close-up picture of that.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. It's got Earl Scruggs' signature in the back. He didn't just decide to do it, you know, cleanly. He did it with his little engraver. James said he engraved everything but his engraver.
That's funny.
So if you had something that Earl owned, you knew it.
Yeah. Wow, how cool is that, man?
Yeah.
And then to have these, I mean, two guitars, like I said, back together again.
I've been doing a lot of research on this guitar, trying to find old photos of it, and these two guitars appear in Volume 7 of the Martha White together. That appears in many of the different videos, but that means that these two guitars have not been together for 70 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
This is the first time they've been together in 70 years. It's so neat, the amount of history just between these two guitars.
Yeah, so cool. Wow. So since you've owned this one, I've seen a lot of pictures and people that has played this guitar, and it's been one of the it's probably the stories that it's been told now since you've been bringing it out and stuff, and people that you've met. I know you've had new stories now since you've owned it. Just kind of all these stories kind of rekindle stuff, I think. Just like we had both of them out at the table. We're at the Spigma convention, and of course there's a lot of fans and stuff running around, but people just kind of walk up, what is this, and then it seems like everybody's got a story, they got a story about, how Flatt and Scruggs, inspired them to, and that's one of the big reasons why we gather here, every year. So it fits in with what's going on at this convention, I think.
It's neat to see these guitars, behind glass with a story and a plaque and all the pictures and everything, but there's a connection that happens when you've got it in your hands and you're playing it,
Yeah.
and you're touching the guitar that, one of your bluegrass heroes had played and built bluegrass with.
Yeah.
It's just a totally different feeling. It's a totally different experience, and especially in a place like this in Spigma.
Yeah.
It's huge.
And I love that too when you get to play those guitars. Like I played most of Norman Blake's guitars, and every one of those guitars, when I would play them, it's like, I know why he bought this guitar. I know why Lester bought that guitar. I know why, after we played this, I know why Earl bought this one. It's clean sounding, and it's got that mid-range sound. I remember one time I was backstage and got to play Charlie Waller's guitar, and Charlie was telling me a story, how he got it, and he had traded this motorcycle for it, and he said, I didn't want to give up my motorcycle, but he goes, I wanted that herringbone, and he said, it'd probably be the only time I would, be able to get one, and but I played that guitar, and I was just like, man, I just looked at Charlie, he goes, man, I know why it was painful for you to trade your motorcycle, because he said he loved it, and when you play those guitars, like, man, that's Charlie's sound. That was his sound. You can hear it in that rhythm and everything like that. That's what pretty cool about chasing this stuff is, like, man, when you finally get it and get to hear it, it's like, man, that's part of that person's sound that you've listened to, over the recordings, and it's like, man, you can hear it when you play the guitar. It's like, wow.
It is also neat to see some of the younger, like James and I are both, in the bluegrass crowd we count as younger guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
We're in that middle of the range, but it's neat to see that passion and that respect for bluegrass history and the instruments and wanting to make sure they're preserved. And it's so cool. We were chatting, just having such a good time reminiscing about these two instruments and that like passion for bluegrass and keeping the instruments. It's really neat. I'm
it is
proud
really
of James
neat.
for doing that.
Me too. I'm proud of you too. And just like James letting us do this video. I mean, it means a lot to us just to even have the just the time to kind of look at it and just kind of share it with everybody else. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big deal to me, and it's one of those things where the music will never be forgotten. But some of the instruments that we'll see pictures of is like, man, what happened to that? I was chatting with Thomas today. We saw a picture of Buck Owens in the studio, and he had an old D18 in the booth with him. I was like, man, what happened to this guitar? Where's this at now? Who ended up with it? So part of the thrill, I know, is the chase, but and then the second part is like if you can buy something like that. Go ahead and do it, because the opportunity may never come up again, And I know you've passed on instruments that that you'll never get back. You know, after they sell, they just kind of stay there. You know, especially with somebody that, you know, they just, it's a part of them. Then, you know,
things like these, yeah, they only come around, and they're generational. You know,
they are.
So,
yeah.
So you get to be a steward of it for a set amount of time, and hopefully you get to have it for quite a while.
Yeah.
And that also means, boy, when one comes across, pull that trigger if you can do it, because.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cool, man.
And kudos to the luthier. I wish I could remember his name. James was telling me about him in the process that they had doing this, but this is a work of art compared to what it was when it was in that case. He did a great job.
He sure
at
did.
Preserving a lot. And James kept the old frets just like I kept the old frets off this, so I could still have that little piece that Lester's fingers touched, you know. And same thing. Earl's frets are in the case back at his house, and he's got some other pieces. He has that flight tag, that Southwest Airlines flight tag with Earl's name and his phone number on it, you know, that was on the case. And so they kept a lot of stuff on here, but the luthier did a great job really bringing this back, because it had some structural issues. And you can't tell just looking at it. It really plays nice.
It's solid, man.
Really
wow.
Great. Guys jamming on it last night and today were like, wow. I mean, just wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, well, thanks, Thomas, and glad you could come back again this year. And I don't know what you're going to do with for your finale, maybe next year. But
I don't know, write in. Let's see if there's some people that want to sell me some more guitars.
All right. Well, let's see if we can get a tune together and kind of hear what these guitars are going to sound like. Maybe we can get Lester and Earl back together one more time.
All right, that sounds good.